So, David, you had some feedback.
Yeah, one app that I found was really helpful is called IA Writer. It's available on all platforms, and basically what it is it's like Notepad, but it takes over your entire screen. You can make it white, black, however you want, but it's really the kind of app that helps you to do distraction-free kind of writing. So there's no menus, there's no nothing, and just check it out. That's where IA, the letter I, the letter A, Writer. It's available. It was a Mac app before, but now it's available on Windows too. Really helpful if you're writing stuff.
Everyone got that? IA Writer? Anastasia?
If you have Microsoft Windows, that has an exclusion mode as well, where you can cut out, you can basically make it take over the screen. I can't remember what the exact name for it is, but it's in one of the menus under Tools, I think.
Yeah, whatever you can do to just minimize distractions on your screen is always a good idea. Piano music on repeat. Anyone uses this trick? Okay, you got one. Oh, you got two. And kind of three, okay. So piano music on repeat. What I discovered is I would always write with music. But what I discovered is guitar, which is my favorite kind of music, rock music, it distracts the brain. I have to physically, I feel it. Piano, though, does quite the opposite. It has the opposite effect on me. So I don't know if this works the same for you. You may experiment with different music. For some of you, it may be, trance or house or any kind of music, maybe pop. But whatever it is, try to pick music without words. Because the moment there's words, you will focus on the words and obviously try to sing along, and your writing goes to hell, basically.
Because I've kind of experimented with different types of music as well. So piano music is absolutely excellent. Just like words distract you, like songs that have words, I find music that has strong beats, like the strong drum beats, also distract you. I think just makes your brain go off like a different neural pathway, just very distracting.
Yep. Write to a formula. That's what we've been doing so far on this workshop. And many of you have said that, oh wow, I'm doing something, like I'm actually writing, I can't believe it. I wasn't able to write, right? Did you have something to say? No. So writing to your formula makes it all easier, makes it achievable, and makes it formulaic, which for many of us, it's really important because, if we just get tasked with the assignment of just coming up with stuff, that's very hard. Dennis can do it because he's that creative mind, but very few of us can. Walt, have a safe trip.
Thank you. It was nice meeting all of you. Bye. I do have one question for you.
Use the mic, yes.
Why do you record videos in a coffee shop?
Because that's where I used to work most of the time. Because I couldn't get any work done at home. I don't know, believe it or not, but anytime I'm at home, my wife, she can't get anything done. It's like she needs me for everything. Like for everything. I have no idea how she does it when I'm not there. So I had to excuse myself to the coffee shop.
If any of you find yourself in North Carolina, look me up.
All right. Safe travels. Next up, plan your writing the night before. This is a big tip. I first learned it from Craig Ballantyne. So when you plan your writing the night before, so you think about what you're going to write and even create that outline we were chatting about, when you sleep, your subconscious goes to work. I don't have any empirical data to prove it, but it's easier for me to write about something that I knew I had to write about the night before. Same thing if you want to be more productive, you want to review your schedule the night before, you want to do the prep work the night before. Know the audience. Notice that almost every single one of you who wrote great emails, even if you are a really bad writer, You did that because you knew your audience. You knew exactly what they were going through, how they felt about your industry, their previous experiences. It didn't matter if you wrote a novel or not. It didn't matter whether you could use it thesaurus or not. You just knew the people you were communicating with, and that's what helped you pump out really good copy. Write for one person. Some of you may be imagining a stadium full of people, experiencing a problem and trying to reach all of them, but that's a mistake. Write to one person, a single individual with problems and feelings and a life. You will have a much easier time, especially if you can imagine them in front of you. That's an exercise I made all of my salespeople do, especially the ones who kind of dropped the ball in sales. I made them print out a photo of what is likely, of who is likely to be our customer. And I made them pin it on their screen. So whenever they would look up from the keyboard, they would see someone. Very effective. And you'll notice that the more you connect with your customers, the more you meet them in person, talk to them on the phone, the more you do that, the easier your writing becomes. Because you will know them. You will be able to connect with them. Another tip, oversimplify. So people hate complexity in any market, in any niche. There's no exception to this rule. They all hate complicated stuff. If you propose to somebody to build a 7-step funnel versus building a 1-step funnel, they will always choose the 1-step funnel, even if they know that the 7-step funnel is more profitable. People are lazy, not just in their behavior, but in their thinking. So when you write, the moment you become overwhelming, they become deaf. Oversimplify, it will make your writing easier. It will make them want to work with you. Write to a word count. So this is something that writers do, like the ones who write novels. They don't get up until they wrote at least like 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 words for the day. When I was writing my book, I was writing to a chapter a day. That was my only task, write a chapter today. But I also knew that my chapter is to be, at the very least, a couple of thousand words. So whenever I wouldn't hit my word count, I would either have to go back and add more stuff in the middle or in the beginning or at the end, but I was writing to a specific goal, to a word count. It made writing more focused. It made the whole exercise much easier for me. Now, another tip is everything is writing, some of it is just spoken or acted out. So every Hollywood blockbuster starts with a screenplay. Every song is written first before it's sung. Jay, you're leaving us? All right. I forgive you.
Meeting you guys, and this was phenomenal. So
Take care, man.
keep in touch.
Bye, Dave.
Bye, everyone.
So everything is writing, some of it is just spoken or acted out. What this means is that next time you're watching a YouTube video, following someone on social media, seeing a movie, perhaps with great dialogue, listening to a song, whatever that is, it's writing. When you attend someone's webinar, it's all written out. Even if they didn't script it word for word, it still was an idea that was put down on paper. So what this means is that writing becomes a part of everything you do in your business. Any way, shape, or form that you want to get customers, you will have to embrace writing as a part of that, whether in the form of outlines or just in the form of transcribed communication that you put out. Don't edit, just write. Or in the words of David Deacle, vomit on the page. Don't self-edit yourself when you are writing. Just let it all hang loose, if you will. Just let it out. You will find it easier, and if you were to self-edit as you write, you would never get anything written. That is very, very complicated to accomplish. Stick to one topic, niche, or industry. Now, this applies to most of you, although some of you do have products in different industries, but one of the reasons why I believe we're so successful at what we do, and why I personally can pump out as much content as I need very, very fast, as well as improvise on the spot too. If somebody asks me a question on the webinar, or if any of you are asking me a question in the workshop, is because I'm very narrow in my focus and in that one industry. So to come up with something to say about this is very easy for me. Most of you in your lifetime will only need one industry, will only need one market. And if you find yourself switching a market, then all it takes is about 1 hour a day for 30 days to become, really proficient at it. So when you put your focus in one market instead of trying to spread yourself into several, it's going to be always easier for you to come up with content in that market. It's going to be faster than if you were to ask some outsider to do it for you. Never start with a blank slate. So before you sit down writing, always know what you're writing for. Always know what you're writing about. That's why I've given you all these different templates and formulas, because at the very least, they inspire you to have something to write about. So you're not starting with a blank slate, you have a starting point. That's a big, big, big benefit for a writer. Starting with a blank slate is virtually impossible. Create an asset inventory. It's also known as a swipe file. But I'm not talking about a swipe file in the copywriting sense where you're supposed to go find a bunch of really cool ads and put them all into like a folder. I'm talking about a content inventory as well as a personal asset inventory. Example, you see me use a lot of storytelling, and it seems like I can whip a story out of nowhere and make it very relevant to what we are discussing. However, what you don't know is that I have a very special file in my Evernote, which is where I use, what I use to store all of my ideas and journal. In my Evernote, there's a specific file that's called a story file, and it's broken down into different categories. Personal stories, stories other people shared with me, Dennis stories because I write with Dennis's voice, experiences my customers shared with me, guru stories, people I follow, they all tell stories. I can easily take their stories and retell them. All I have to do is just, give credit. That's it. So I also have other categories: childhood discoveries, parents, a bunch of stories about my brother. All bad stories, by the way. So there's a whole story swipe file. Then there's a swipe file of solo ads. So when I'm marketing to the solo ad crowd, what can I write about? I have about 300 and something, I don't have the exact count, but 300 and something ideas that I can go back to again and again, even if I'm drawing a blank, easily. All it takes is just some, just to pay attention to the world around you as well as to yourself, and to keep some kind of a diary. So what I recommend is Evernote, because it syncs with all your devices. It's very secure. There's actually a 2-step authentication process so no one can crack it. It's just perfect. I love it. Couldn't recommend it highly enough. Yes, Mark? David? Yeah, David checked out.
I just wanted to add, because I just seen a documentary, it was just, and it really hit home with me, because I just thought it was about one of Disney's animators, one of the top animators that Disney had, and how he came up with the stories behind a lot of the, the stuff that they did. And the guy literally had books and books of stuff he just saved, and he would just look through these books to give himself ideas and stuff. So when I heard you talking about it, it just further solidified that I definitely need to start making sure I do that. Because I always thought that you were either born creative or, you couldn't do it. But then when I see people, they just have different way of doing things to help them perform and doing that. It's just, we just don't know to do it. So I just thought that would, what you're saying,
Yes.
that just even different industry uses it.
That is very, very cool that you pointed that out, because effective writers simply use effective tools. They're not necessarily better DNA than you or whatever. In fact, higher IQ doesn't even guarantee that you're going to be a better writer or be more creative. So yeah, that's a great thing that you pointed out. So I first learned this concept from Dan Kennedy. And Dan Kennedy wrote like 30 different books in 17 different industries, published a newsletter every month for years. I mean, he pumped out more content than the most aggressive social media celebrity. And he still got to have a life. He spent a lot of time, on horse racing and a bunch of really cool stuff. So that's how he did it. He always kept an inventory. Now, he's an old school guy, so for him, it wasn't really keeping one Evernote app on his phone and having access and being able to search through it digitally. He had basically boxes of stuff that he had, and anytime he sat down to write a book or a newsletter, he just, he had the Zig Ziglar box. Okay, let's see what we can find there. He had like a bunch of different stuff. So really cool, but now fortunately we don't have to do that. We can do it digitally.